Welcome to Perspective Reports, your world strategize. Today's topic is sports. Let's get it. Here it is. Oh, money. Let's do it. Picture the Heisman Trophy. You're seeing the stiff arm, the bronze finish, the tears at the podium in New York City. It's the most famous award in American sports. But I want you to stop looking at it as just another trophy. In fact, I want you to see it for what it truly is, an IPO. An initial public offering for the athlete, the programs, and the future sponsorships and professional teams, all looking to get a piece of the pie. You see, we usually talk about the Heisman in terms of yards, touchdowns, and Heisman moments. But if you look at the balance sheets, this bronze statue is actually at the center of a multi-million-dollar economic engine. And while most of the points I'm making are very obvious to the avid college football fan, for the last 90 years, this 25-pound bronze statue has been at the center of the complex financial catalyst that links 19 to 22-year-old quarterbacks, massive university endowments, media conglomerates like ESPN, and national sponsors like Home Depot into a single symbiotic ecosystem. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Also, welcome to the channel, Perspective Reports. I'm X, the person who runs it. Your World Strategize. We like to look at things from a cultural, business, and strategy POV. Also, check out our website, perspectivereports.com. We have study guides, lots of really good study guides, games, and deeper insights and analyses on the topics we talk about here on YouTube, plus surveys and more. So go check that out. More coming. Thank you so much for watching. Let's keep it going. So leave those X's and O's at the door. We're not speaking to cover 2 or the spread offense. Instead, we're doing a deep dive percentage analysis on the Heisman value chain. Hey!
You're watching Perspective Reports, your world strategize.
And the results are wild. And just a disclaimer, I usually use Google Gemini as the initial deep research. Then I'll overview it, add my own edits, then have another AI chatbot look it over again. So that's where it's a lot coming from, but you get all the sources and stuff down in the links and description. I probably should post a video speaking to how I use AI. I feel like that's probably something useful for all of you. Look out for that. I have a script for it. Anyway, we analyze the Heisman not as an award, but as a business product. This 25-pound bronze statue acts as a trigger for hundreds of millions of dollars in liquidity. For the winner, it secures a financial floor of at least $50 to $100 million if they play their cards right, even if they never play a successful down in the NFL. And for the school, it's a marketing megaphone that can unlock nearly $1 billion in donations. Brand new stadium, here we come. And for the media, it's the narrative engine that fuels a multi-billion-dollar industry of what's the next big thing. Let's start with the talent. In the old days, the Heisman was just a nice line on a resume. In the NIL era, however, it's a financial accelerant. Think of a top college player like a volatile tech stock. They have a high potential, but they are risky. The Heisman Trophy functions as a blue chip validator. It tells the market this asset is for real. Let's take Caleb Williams, the 2022 Heisman winner and the quarterback for my Chicago Bears. He was already rich before he won the award, but the week after he won the trophy, his valuation didn't just tick up, it surged up by exactly $651,000 in 7 days, solidifying a total valuation of $3.2 million at the time. This is sourced from on3.com. Or look at the 2024 winner Travis Hunter. 2 days before his name was called, he signed a massive deal with Adidas. Why? Because brands had already identified him as a Heisman level asset. The trophy isn't the starting point, it's the market stamp of approval. But the smart money isn't even in the NIL deals, it's in what we call the brand annuity. Most NFL careers are short, we know this, lasting about 4 to 5 years. If you bust, your income goes to zero because you're paid by the game. But if you have a Heisman Trophy, you have a revenue stream completely decoupled from your NFL success, which is not guaranteed. Tim Tebow won the Heisman in 2007, but he hasn't played football in years, and yet he commands a $60,000 fee for a single speaking event, a fee agents call extremely affordable for the value he brings. Then you think about others like Charlie Ward, who won in 1993, but he went on to play basketball in the NBA instead of the NFL. 3 decades later, he still commands appearance fees between $5,000 to $10,000 higher than his peers just because of that Heisman Trophy. It is a high-yield, lifelong asset that keeps its value. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, the Heisman curse. We all have heard of it. We have to talk about it. Statistically, it's kind of a real thing. Since 2000, more Heisman winners have gone undrafted, 15 in fact, than have made the Pro Football Hall of Fame, only 9 in that time span. And the examples of that are guys like Jason White from Oklahoma going undrafted, and Johnny Manziel from Texas A&M getting cut after just 2 seasons. But from a business perspective, this isn't a curse, it's an evaluator's disconnect. The Heisman is a media award voted on by writers who reward production. NFL teams are futures traders. They draft on traits and projection. They are playing 2 different games. However, and this is a huge however, even if the player busts, the Heisman guarantees they get paid first. The Heisman has become a guarantee of premium draft capital. In fact, 41 winners of the award have been taken in the first 5 picks of the NFL draft. Over a decade ago, ESPN estimated a Heisman was worth over $800,000 over a lifetime. That is now demonstrably out of date. Joe Burrow's rookie contract alone was $36.1 million. Kyler Murray got $35 million guaranteed. This illustrates the impact of NIL, sponsorships, and the amount of money going into the youth ranks of the sport, drastically raising the bar of getting paid. But why do teams pay this for risky Heisman winners? Because they aren't just drafting a quarterback, they are drafting a commercial asset. A Heisman winner sells jerseys, tickets, and hope to a struggling franchise. Kyler Murray wasn't just a QB, he was a $35 million marketing investment. Also, shout out to Caleb Williams, again, Chicago Bears. So the players get rich, but what about the universities? Well, they get the megaphone effect. You've probably heard about the Flutie Effect if you're a college football historian. Doug Flutie won the 1984 Heisman, and Boston College, his university, applications jumped there by 30%. Think about all the money that's bringing in. Studies show a Heisman top 5 finish boosts applications to the universities by a statistically significant 6.59% the next year. That's pretty good. But tuition is peanuts compared to the donors. Let's look at the Manziel effect at Texas A&M in 2012. So let's slide on down to College Station, Texas, and talk about the year Johnny Manziel won the Heisman, and Texas A&M, his university, raised a record-breaking $740 million in donations. That's almost $1 billion. That's huge. That was a $300 million increase over their previous record, and they raised more money on the night that he won the Heisman Trophy than they usually do in a full month. But here is the funny reality about business. When Texas A&M claimed that the win of the Heisman Trophy by Johnny Manziel generated $37 million in media exposure, but when Bloomberg audited them, the school admitted that the only direct cash attributable to that win was $20,000 from a fundraising dinner. So, was it all a lie? Well, no. The Heisman doesn't sell the last ticket, it acts as the megaphone that allows the school to raise the price on everything else: sponsorships, suites, rights for fees, and tuition for the next 10 years. It is a brand equity play, not a cash grab. Well, who else cashes in? Well, the only other person left are the coaches, and there is no specific Heisman bonus in any coaching contract, at least nowadays. For instance, Ryan Day doesn't have one in his contract. But a coach like Lincoln Riley, whose players such as Caleb Williams have won the Heisman Trophy, they have used their reputation as a Heisman maker, quote unquote, to justify an $11.5 million salary. And also, contrary to the 5-star myth, you don't need to buy the top recruits or recruit the top recruits to win the Heisman Trophy at your school. Let's look at Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and Johnny Manziel, all players who were considered not good enough to really play quarterback at the next level, all of them winning the Heisman. The coach sells the developmental system to recruits, and that keeps the talent pipeline flowing. Finally, we have to look at the puppet masters themselves, the Heisman Trophy Trust. For years, they were a sleepy nonprofit with $46 million in the bank. But in 2025, they hired their first ever CEO to quote-unquote drive revenue. And why? Well, because in the NIL era, everyone else is making money off the word Heisman. Hello? And the trust wants their cut of it too. They are pivoting from a charity to a media licensing company. And if that doesn't tell you how much money has penetrated the college football ranks, I don't know what else will. So here's the verdict. The Heisman Trophy is the ultimate lead generator. It connects ESPN, who needs content, Nissan, who sponsors the award, and per an article from the Sports Business Journal all the way back in 2015, Nissan expanded their college advertising budget to 100 schools ranging in an amount between $10 million to $40 million, and that was just 10 years ago, and of course the universities, who need applicants and the brand prestige perceived by the public, into a perfect self-sustaining triangle. The player gets a potential $50 million floor, the coach gets a potential $10 million salary, and the school gets a potential bump of upwards of $300 million in donations. Not bad for a 25-pound doorstop. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the business of sports, make sure to hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bonus track, bonus track.
And of course, before we go, I got to hit you with some actual strategy points because that's what we do here at Perspective Reports. So future Heisman winners, schools, coaches, whoever, listen up. Strategy number 1, the Heisman annuity model. Strategy: players should pivot from seeking one-time cash endorsements to structuring long-term brand ambassador contracts that vest. The rationale is research shows the Heisman creates a brand annuity or brand uplift independent of NFL success, with winners like Charlie Ward and Tim Tebow getting high appearance fees decades later. Since the Heisman winner title is a permanent asset, players should sign 10 to 20-year deals with sponsors like car dealerships or regional banks, reliable places in the community that pay lower upfront cash but guarantee income post-retirement, and monetizes the trophy for life. It hedges the risk of the Heisman curse, where NFL success is not guaranteed. Point number 2, or strategy number 2, the developmental lab, branding pivot, school strategy. University marketing departments should stop advertising 5-star recruiting classes and start advertising their developmental systems and academies. The data proves the Heisman is often a developmental award, with 3-star recruits like Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Johnny Manziel winning over 5-star recruits. Sometimes a Heisman maker coach like Lincoln Riley or potentially Kurt Cignetti is valuable because of their systems, not just recruiting. Schools can use the Heisman to win a recruit undervalued 3-star, 4-star talent by promising a proven pathway to stardom, and it effectively moneyballs the recruiting process to find high-yield talent at a lower acquisition cost. And number 3, the instant capitalization protocol. And this is a school donor strategy. Universities must build pre-approved trigger campaigns to capture alumni donation euphoria within the first 48 hours of a win. That's the key time period. The Manziel effect showed that Texas A&M, for instance, raised more money during the single night of the win than in a typical month. However, the megaphone effect is temporary. Why it works: creating the Heisman ceremony as a lead generation event, schools can instantly convert the massive spike in media exposure into liquid capital before the excitement fades and the accounting reality sets in. And if you want to see the last 2 strategies, because I have 2 more, go to our website, link below. You'll find more strategies and a little video where I'm going to add more stuff on there. I'm going to actually do that more exclusive on website video content. So thank you all so much for watching. Perspective Reports, your world strategized. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.
You're watching Perspective Reports, your world strategized.